Welcome to yet another edition of the Diplomat Couch, an amazing program where we speak to ambassadors and heads of international missions in Zimbabwe. What we seek to do is to understand the activities of both the embassies and the international missions in this country. My name is Love Mochangira, and it is my honor today to host the Netherlands ambassador to Zimbabwe, Her Excellency Dr. Margret Verwijk. Now, Your Excellency, it's an honor to have you on the program.
Very happy to be here, Lovemore. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, a newcomer, a visitor to the Netherlands, will be forgiven for not knowing what to expect. There are so many tales, about the clogs, the tulips, the dikes, and the windmills in your country. Would you want to give us a quick tour of the Netherlands?
A quick tour of the Netherlands. Well, let's start with the fact that it's a very, very small country.
Very small.
It's 1/6 of Zimbabwe. My country...
1/6 of Zimbabwe.
My country would fit into Mashonaland West. All the things that you were saying were actually true. We do have windmills, we do have clocks. But what I find important to mention here is that it's a country that is man-made.
Man-made.
It's, below sea level. A city like Amsterdam is 2 meters below sea level.
Oh, is it?
So with a lot of knowledge and water management and innovation, we have conquered the land from the sea and turned it into a very prosperous, well-developed country.
Ambassador, looking at the history of your country, it is positioned as the first modern economy. Now, can you share with viewers how the Dutch country managed to achieve this feat, this title, and the high living standards associated with this modern economy?
Yeah, if I think back, it's the generation of my parents, actually. After World War II, they really, really worked hard to get the country back. It was a time, that a lot of things, infrastructure was destroyed, and it had to be rebuilt. What we have in common with Zimbabwe is that we are farmers as well. We love farming, we love agriculture. So in those days, there were actually quite a number of Dutch families looking for a better future abroad, just after World War II. Some of them, they moved to Australia, to New Zealand, and also a number of farmers came to Zimbabwe, came to South Africa, working in the field of agriculture as farmers, bringing also back a lot of wealth to the Netherlands. And these are the farmers, obviously after land reform took place in Zimbabwe, not all of them could stay. But some of them are still there, and they're doing very well in terms of growing blueberries that get exported to the Netherlands, in terms of growing flowers that, the Netherlands is also famous for. Another great thing after World War II is that we really invested in our harbor. Rotterdam is the gateway not just to the Netherlands, but also to Europe. As a matter of fact. We invested in education and health, so all of our young people can actually contribute to the economy, which is extremely important. Right now, if I look at exports, and we're a very small country, remember, we export like goods and services, $700 billion a year.
That's huge.
That is huge. So we're very outgoing as Dutch, we're tradespeople, and we're known to be that.
Ambassador, you've just touched on the economy. Can you briefly tell us about, the key sectors driving the Netherlands economy? Tied to that same question, please talk also about the imports and the exports.
We're doing very well in logistics. We're a knowledge economy, so we're very good in water management, obviously. I mean, we have to be. If you look at the city of Amsterdam, we have more than 1,200 bridges in a city alone.
1,200 bridges.
Yes, covering more than 60 canals in the city. So we're extremely good in dealing with water management. And we help other countries with their knowledge, be it in Asia, countries like Bangladesh and Pakistan, but also countries like the US. So water management is one of our top sectors. Goods and services, of course, you know all the big companies. There's Heineken, there's KLM, Spar. Look at Spar Zimbabwe over here. Yeah, we have Agricole, famous for seeds and potatoes. We have a lot of agricultural produce, and we're also known for dairy and cheese, of course.
All right, wonderful. So the Dutch society might seem a bit more open and a bit more informal compared to the rest of Europe. What are some of the key cultural elements that make you unique as compared to the rest of Europe?
I think we stand out because we're very open, we're very tolerant, but we also call a spade a spade.
Oh, you call a spade a spade.
Flowery language is not our thing. For example, you know, I encourage people to call me Margret instead of Your Excellency or Ambassador, because we're all people at the end of the day. Sure. And you know, we don't distinguish from other people. So yeah, we're very frank. It could be rude, considered rude maybe at times. And that's what, you know, our kids are taught in school, to ask questions. Sure. And to be constructive, critical citizens later on. So we encourage that.
Ambassador, on that note, we have to take a short break. And when we return, we then talk about the trade relations between your country and Zimbabwe. Viewers, stay tuned. We're taking a short break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome to the second segment of the Diplomat Couch. I'm speaking here to the Netherlands Ambassador to Zimbabwe, Her Excellency Dr. Margret Verwijk. Now, Ambassador, Zimbabwe and the Netherlands have had bilateral ties since the 1980s. How are the trade relations between our two countries?
Absolutely. Trade relations are extremely important, and we really try to also increase trade levels between Zimbabwe, the Netherlands, as well as, you know, the other countries in Europe. At this very moment, like last year, 2021, we had trade amounting to $100 million, quite an amount.
Yeah, it is quite
for Zimbabwe, there's a trade surplus, actually, with the Netherlands, but also with Europe. And in terms of partnerships, trade partners, we have very, you know, encouraging terms to engage in trade. We try to lower the barriers for Zimbabwe so that they can access our market more easily. And basically it implies that we have beautiful Zimbabwean avocados, lovely blueberries. The country of tulips, the Netherlands, even imports flowers from Zimbabwe. We have like 3 cargo flights a week. KLM Martinair organized that. But still, there's room for growth.
There's room for growth.
We're looking into that.
All right, great. So, Ambassador, yes, you've highlighted the products that we're exporting to the Netherlands at the moment. Is there room for other products that could be exported to the Netherlands market?
I think there's a lot of produce, and the market has not been satisfied still. We also import sugar snaps. Basically, they're agricultural produce that for us are out of season, that we cannot produce ourselves. There is scope also for citrus, precious stones, but also look at you know, earth metals nowadays. Nowadays, they're very, very precious and of value to the world. Think of lithium and all the other rare metals.
All right, great. So, Ambassador, yes, you've highlighted the products that we're exporting to the Netherlands at the moment. Is there room for other products that could be exported to the Netherlands market?
There's a lot of cooperation, and not just between Zimbabwe and the Netherlands, but also between Zimbabwe and Europe as a whole. If I look at our Dutch programs, like I said, we support sustainable economic development, trade. We have a retired expert program providing technical assistance in all different sectors of the economy. We also support mine action along the border with Mozambique, clearing mines. We support a program together with the water utilities in Harare, Mutare and Bulawayo, because a country like the Netherlands has a lot of expertise, so it's mostly technical assistance through waterworks. We also support women's rights. We work with civil society organizations. We love working with young people, the future generation of this country. We have a wonderful program with Young Africa. They're basically investing in vocational training of young people that then have the potential to become entrepreneurs.
We need more of that. We need more of that.
In terms of volume, if I look, for example, at the EU together with the EU member states, and the Netherlands is a member state, for the last 15 years, our aid to Zimbabweans, to the people, amounted to over 2 billion euros.
2 billion euros.
Yes, yes.
Amazing figure there. Now let's briefly touch on culture. Are there any culture exchange programs between our two countries?
Absolutely. For years we have invested in scholarships, scholarship programs basically. We have an alumni association with some brilliant Zimbabwean minds that got educated in the Netherlands. We're also looking into vocational scholarships. That's the future. Sure. Linking skills to jobs once again. And actually education in the Netherlands is very popular. So even Zimbabweans, they try to, because they highly appreciate education. Sure. For their children, they try to put aside enough money for their kids to get educated in the Netherlands, because our training is oftentimes in English. There's a lot of exchange. Then we have Dutch students coming here for research.
Now let's end this segment on a tourism note. How are the tourist numbers from the Netherlands to Zimbabwe?
Still not as high as prior to COVID, still not as high as they could be. It's a beautiful country, Zimbabwe. But of course it has to compete with other destinations in southern Africa as well. But generally, Dutch people, they love hiking. We're a flat country, we don't have mountains, so they love coming out just to do some hiking. Many of them also, admire the wildlife in Zimbabwe. Obviously, it requires the government to work together with tourism companies to make sure that COVID restrictions are less, to make sure that tourists can use their credit cards and can use the banking systems. They're a little bit risk averse as well, Dutch, when they travel, so they want to make sure that everything goes smooth. But something good about Zimbabwe is that it's relatively secure. And traveling around is more easy.
And your favorite tourist destination in Zimbabwe?
That's a very hard question. That's a very difficult one, because I really love the country. I love the bird life in Vumba. I'm also a wildlife photographer, amateur. So I really love Manopols, Hawangi. But I also enjoyed Matopos, the hills over there and the rocks, the beautiful rock paintings. Then I think about, for example, Great Zimbabwe, which is also gorgeous.
You love the whole country.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. Ambassador, we have to take another short break. And when we return, we then look at the relations between your country and Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world in general. Viewers, stay tuned. We will be back shortly. Welcome to the third and final segment of the Diplomat Couch. I'm speaking here to the Netherlands Ambassador to Zimbabwe, Her Excellency Dr. Margret Verwijk. Now, Ambassador, the business climate in the Netherlands is described as one of the most attractive in the world. What advice would you give to businesses, executives out there looking at opportunities to do business in your country?
What I was thinking of is that, business people from Zimbabwe or Africa that want to work in the Netherlands, I would recommend them to work hard. They'll find a very fertile ground for doing business and having trade relationships with the Netherlands. Like I said, there's a preferential arrangement that makes it easier to work there. It's a very tolerant, inclusive country. We have a large expat community. People speak English. That's not that makes doing business easier. Just work hard and focus. Also, try and identify a sector which you would like to develop. And there are instruments that we offer as a Netherlands embassy, as well as in Europe at large.
I would have wanted to make a follow-up question, Ambassador, on the requirements for people who would want to come and work in the Netherlands.
It's relatively easy. If I know in Rwanda it only takes 7 days, but in terms of, administrative arrangements, there are very, very few hurdles. We embrace trade relations. We embrace a business approach. For example, the Netherlands is very good in precision agriculture. Look for opportunities. I always say look beyond your borders and try to expand.
I'm sure there are Zimbabweans that are watching that would probably be considering working in the Netherlands. What requirements are there for one to work in the Netherlands?
Well, right now we have a labor shortage. Post-COVID, it's not just one particular sector like transport facing issues with human resources. Even my own ministry has a lot of vacancies. I mean, the Netherlands, Europe at large faces labor shortage. Obviously, within Europe, travel is much easier, and it's much easier for one citizen from Europe, from one particular country, be it Italy or be it Germany, to work in the Netherlands and the other way around. Coming from Africa, what is important is that you have found a business or an employment to work with prior to going. Because if you go without
securing
that, it becomes very difficult.
Sure.
And it's also quite expensive, because you'll just, look for jobs while you're there, which is going to be exactly. Yeah, so I encourage people to look for companies, apply from here. I mean, we've got digital services and resources, so it's very easy to connect. And the Netherlands, as such, is one of the most connected countries in the world.
Now let's switch to climate change. I know that climate change is a topical issue at the moment, and we have COP27 coming in Egypt later on in the year. What activities are you implementing as the Netherlands to achieve net zero by 2050?
For us, climate change is a very important area of concern. I'm very proud to say that we got some additional resources as an embassy also to work on climate action, and we're going to be supporting 4 civil society organizations that will be working on creating more awareness about the dangers of climate change, how to adapt, and work on climate resilient development, basically. The Netherlands is also known for things like renewable energy. So within the Netherlands, that's what we're currently focusing on. Very, very important. Yeah, a country full of, a lot of water, knowing that there will be climate change. We're depending on agriculture. So we really have to keep, keep going in terms of taking action.
Lastly, Ambassador, who is Ambassador Margret Verwijk?
I'm a person that loves traveling, loves meeting people. In general, I'm also very interested and curious about countries, about people. So there's this people-to-people interest that I have. I'm also very open. Like all the other Dutch that I described, I call a spade a spade. I deeply care also about human rights and women's rights, also about the rights of LGBTI people in our country and worldwide. It's what the Netherlands is known for. And very tolerant and relaxed otherwise, I hope.
Ambassador, it was a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much for taking your time to shed more light on the activities that you're doing in Zimbabwe, and also educating us on how the Netherlands has managed to achieve the great successes that you've achieved in the economy. Viewers, we've come to the end of the program. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to having you again in the next program. We certainly hope that you have benefited, you have learned 1 or 2 things about the Netherlands.